This is an iHeart podcast.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
In 2012, 16-year-old Brian Herrera was gunned down in broad daylight on his way to do homework. No suspects, no witnesses, no justice.
I would ask my husband, do you want me to stop? He was like, no, keep fighting.
After nearly a decade, a breakthrough changed everything. This is Cold Case Files Miami, stories of families who never stopped fighting. Listen to Cold Case Files Miami on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about outsiders, women who marched to the beat of their own drum and rejected stereotypes about what women should be. They're aesthetic pioneers, norm benders, and often one of the only women in their field. Today we're delving into the story of a woman who boldly chose to live as her authentic self, even when it was risky to do so. She dedicated her life's work to expanding medical understanding of gender identity, and she created a community for trans and gender non-conforming people in an era when they were so often erased and persecuted. Let's talk about Louise Lawrence. Louise was born in Northern California in 1912. Assumed to be a boy, Louise went by Lou for the first 3 decades of her life. But she sensed who she really was early on. As a child, she reveled in trying on her female relatives' clothes. Once, at a dance lesson when she was 12 years old, she looked at her dance partner's taffeta dress and felt envious, later explaining, "I wish that I could have been wearing the dress myself." It weighed on her, pretending that she wasn't like the other girls at school. But coming out as a trans girl in the early 20th century seemed unthinkable. When she was 18 years old, Louise became a bank clerk and married a woman named Virginia. They had a daughter together, but Virginia died not long after. In 1941, Louise remarried, this time to a woman who seemed to accept her gender affinity for cross-dressing. But this acceptance did not last, and they divorced in 1944. After her second marriage ended, Louise decided to finally live full-time as a woman. She began to go by Louise in her private and public life. Years later, she would write, "I consider Louise to be my true identity, even though the birth records say differently. And on this I will stand, for to me, as to most people who know me, I am Louise." She had already started to look for other trans people when she was married by placing personal ads in magazines and scouring newspapers for any stories of people being arrested for cross-dressing. She'd then reach out to the lawbreaker to strike up a correspondence. At the time, this was one of the few ways available for Louise to find other trans and gender non-conforming people. She moved from Berkeley to San Francisco to find community in the city's burgeoning gay scene. She made friends with drag queens at gay-friendly bars and got involved with the Mattachine Society, one of the first LGBTQ organizations in the country. California was a destination for many trans and gender non-conforming people at the time. It was one of the rare places where they could make a living, often in nightlife, entertainment, or sex work, while still living as their true selves. Even so, safety and stability as an out trans woman was difficult to find, especially because of harassment by local police. A few months into her new life, Louise was reportedly walking home from the grocery store when she was picked up by the police and arrested for cross-dressing. She was able to avoid long-term consequences for her arrest, benefiting from the advantages of being white and middle class, as well as her connections to respectable academics at the time. Louise had begun to give lectures to doctors at the University of California in San Francisco and to assist at their clinic as part of her effort to destigmatize trans identity. She wanted to fight the prevailing assumption that being trans was a mental disorder. At this time, the clinic was a center of research on what medical professionals called variant sexuality and gender. Through her work there, Louise developed connections with several doctors and psychiatrists, including Dr. Alfred Kinsey, a leading researcher of male sexual behavior at the time. Louise noticed a glaring omission in his work. Kinsey didn't seem to be interested in researching trans identity and told Louise that he believed trans people to be very few in numbers. Louise thought he was wrong. As she said, "I am very sure that it is much more common than most of us, even prominent doctors, are willing or able to admit. I was going to try and prove to him that I was right, and he encouraged me by saying that any facts or figures I could contribute would be valuable." So Louise tapped into the large network of other trans and gender non-conforming people she'd corresponded with over the years and asked them to share their stories with the clinic. Many took her up on the opportunity. By 1950, Dr. Kinsey hired Louise to transcribe interviews with those willing to contribute their experiences of transness and sexuality to his research. These stories informed his research and made it possible for trans identity to be documented and explored in the groundbreaking research Kinsey was working on. In 1951, Louise also published an article of her own in the International Journal of Sexology, outlining what she understood about trans identity based on her own experiences and the stories she'd heard from others. Through her work at the clinic, Louise was also able to help trans men and women to learn about and gain access to gender-affirming medical care. In this way, Louise served as a bridge between the ivory tower of academic research and the private lives of countless trans people across the country. But Louise also wanted to change this forced invisibility of trans people. In 1952, she co-founded the independent magazine Transvestia. She crowdsourced funding to get the publication off the ground using her extensive network of trans friends and acquaintances. It became the first widely read magazine by and for trans people. It was a place where they could read about others' experiences of living as trans people and contribute their own stories in return. Community and possibility bloomed from its glossy pages. By 1959, Louise was no longer involved in the magazine, but the vision she'd helped cement for the publication continued to evolve and grow, and it remained in print until 1986. For more than 3 decades, it explored and validated the experiences of trans people from all walks of life. Louise passed away in 1976. She was 63 years old. She has since been described by historians as an unheralded founder of the transgender community. Her life's work, papers, diaries, and magazines, were the foundation for one of the largest archives of transgender history. Today, you can visit that archive in a small garage in Vallejo, California, or online at the Louise Lawrence Transgender Archive. All month, we're talking about outsiders. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets, with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
This is an iHeart podcast.